Good evening to all the attendees, students, parents, and guidance counselors for joining us for the Knowledge at KPT Admissions 101 workshop series. I know it's late in the evening today, it's 7:30 p.m. India time, so really appreciate your kind time joining us this late in the evening. Today we have a very special guest joining us, and her name is Miss Katie Bexat from Rochester Institute of Technology. And she is here going to be speaking on the session topic, as many have seen in our emails that went out to your schools, which is experiential learning in the US. And I know this is a topic that many of you were very interested when we sent this email out and had written back results. So we truly appreciate your kind time in joining us today. To begin with, the session, the first 30 minutes, Ms. Catherine will be spending time on her session topic, which is experiential learning in the US. And then, of course, the second 30 minutes, she'll be sharing more information about our institution, which is Rochester Institute of Technology. After that, we'll be having a Q&A section. So please feel free to send your questions throughout this session. And Ms. Catherine will be more than happy to answer them at the end of it once she's done with the presentation. So without further ado, I'm going to hand over the stage and the microphone to Ms. Catherine. Catherine, it's wonderful and an immense pleasure to host you today. So thank you so much for joining us. I know it's early in the morning out there. We truly appreciate your time, and I'm going to hand over the microphone to you. Thank you.
Okay, wonderful. Thank you so much. It's a pleasure to be here. I'm going to turn off my video too so we can look at the presentation together. But I'm going to get started by talking about our experiential learning opportunities in the United States, as well as at the university and RIT. So the brief agenda for the beginning will be an introduction to experiential learning and what that is, and then how you can help students choose the best program in the United States. I am Katie Bezek. I'm the Associate Director of International Enrollment at RIT. And my primary responsibility at the university is to manage our outreach and recruitment throughout South and Central Asia. So typically when we're not in the midst of a global pandemic, I am traveling to India and to surrounding countries about 4 times a year. I work for one of the largest private universities in the United States. We have over 240 undergraduate programs, over 100 graduate programs. And we have a very diverse campus of about 110 countries represented with a global presence throughout the world. We have campuses in Croatia, Kosovo, Dubai, and Beijing. So what is experiential learning and why is it important for our students? At RIT, one of our core values is providing experiential learning opportunities to our students so that they will excel in their careers post-graduation. Experiential education is basically learning by doing, and it encourages students to have firsthand experiences outside of the classroom. So the students that we have at RIT and in many programs throughout the United States are in classes and lectures and learning a lot of information, but then having the opportunity to take that information and apply it in different settings. That can be internships, volunteer experience, employment opportunities, and the experiential learning experiences give students confidence and skills that they are able to actually apply the knowledge that they're learning. It provides real-world experience in and outside the classroom, and it helps to develop resilience, curiosity, and self-direction. So a lot of students might be participating in experiential learning programs in high school, but we find that it's much more common in the United States and that there will be more in-depth experiences that are available to students. So I wanted to provide a couple examples of students at RIT who have used the experience that they had during their studies to find placement after graduation. We have this one student, Shevlin, who's from Mumbai. She studied information sciences and technology. She completed a co-op placement with Deloitte and was later offered a full-time position with the same company after she graduated. And she credits the internships and co-op that she participated in with helping her gain the experience that she needed to help her build her resume and make her a competitive applicant for jobs when she graduated. We also have Hongwo, who's a human-computer interaction graduate. He attended a career fair at RIT. He interviewed with Microsoft, and he was eventually hired. So he says that completing assignments, working on different projects in the classroom are certainly helpful, but being able to get real-world experience and talk to actual users and to the employer and representatives from the industry can really make you more of a well-rounded candidate. Lastly, I want to share Anay's story. He was actually a student assistant in my office. He co-opted for Tesla during his studies, and was able to land a full-time position as an automotive engineer after he graduated. He got that experience. So at universities in the United States, all of us will have an Office of Career Services. It's a huge campus resource for any undergraduate or graduate student who's pursuing a degree. And at RIT, we have a very large office where each student is assigned a specific advisor, and the advisors in the office are working with specific programs or colleges. So they are experts in the industry, and it's their sole job to connect students with employers and to provide training to them. So we provide a full range of services. That includes workshops and seminars on interview practice, resume building. They maintain our job posting website. They provide interaction with alumni so that students can learn from our alums and be connected and find positions that way. And the one-on-one coaching support is really essential. On this slide, you can see a picture of our career fair. I think that this is something to think about as you're looking for universities and colleges in the United States. What kind of services do those colleges provide to your students when they're looking for job placement and internships? The career fair at RIT typically hosts about 250 companies. It is held twice a year in October and March. And it's a two-day event that's open only to RIT students. So the first day of the event is a meet and greet where students can dress up and wear their suits, come and talk to the employers and find out exactly what they're looking for. And the second day is all interviews. So students who have applied for positions can be invited back by the companies to sit down and actually interview for cooperative education placements, internships, and full-time jobs. And many of our students will walk away with job offers and sometimes multiple job offers, and they don't actually even have to leave campus in order to do that. I wanted to provide a few more examples of services that are provided by our Career Services Office. These are just numbers from our last year that we provided specifically for international students. So I mentioned the one-on-one career advising, but we've also had over 100 workshops to help with job searching skills. We had 2 workshops that were specific for international students to help them succeed in their job search. We offer networking events with employers from all over the country. So RIT has thousands of industry and career connections, and if they're not able to attend the career fair, they do come to campus throughout the year to host their own information sessions and networking events to meet students. And then we also have industry-specific career fairs. So these career fairs are open only to students from particular departments or for colleges, and there are dozens of companies that will come to meet our students because they know the quality of our students and the success that they've had hiring our students before. So experiential learning comes in many different forms. The most popular is the internship and co-op, some kind of curricular practical training that is work experience in the field that students can participate in. But there are also other ways that students can get involved and become more well-rounded, and again, like I mentioned, apply the knowledge that they're learning in the classroom outside the classroom in the real world. I want to spend some time talking about cooperative education because it is something that we value at RIT. RIT has one of the top 4 cooperative education programs in the United States, and there's no close 5th university or college that offers the same scope or quality of cooperative education. The cooperative education program is required for the majority of our undergraduate students studying in STEM programs, and it's optional for graduate students, but we definitely encourage our master's students to take advantage of it if they're interested. And what co-op is a full-time paid work experience. It's related to a field of study and career. And co-op is a more intensive form of internship. So when students are on co-op, they are not paying tuition. They are solely focused on getting that work experience, building a resume, and making network connections. So students will get valuable references, and because of the co-op, a lot of our students are offered those full-time jobs after they graduate. Students are also welcome to intern at the university. Interns Internships can be completed for credit or without credit. They can be completed part-time. So they are more flexible, but again, co-op is unique because it is more intensive. Clinical experiences can also give students in the health sciences the chance to get real-world experience. And we have mandatory clinical internships that are essential components of most diagnostic or physician assistant programs. And those are really dictated by the specific requirements of the professional licensing. So RIT, for example, has relationships with Rochester Regional Health System and the University of Rochester Medical Center, which gives RIT students hands-on clinical experience in the hospital and ambulatory patient care settings. But students who are in nutrition programs or in exercise science programs will also have the chance to obtain some experiential learning opportunities by helping patients in their home, maybe helping patients remember to take their medicine, exercise, eat nutritiously, and they'll provide that coaching to help listen to their clients' concerns and questions. Many international students who come to the United States are not interested in study abroad. They'd rather stay in the US and get the experience there. But there are so many different programs offered by universities in the United States that allow students to travel outside of the country, whether it's for a full semester or for a briefer period, just to obtain some experience that is a little bit different and can really lend itself to some of the research that they're doing or to the experience that they want to have. RIT, for example, has a number of global campuses. Students can enroll directly in RIT's international campuses. They're located in Kosovo, Croatia, Dubai, Beijing, also Weihai in China. So there are exchange opportunities there. A lot of universities will offer faculty-led programs. So for example, RIT has programs like that that are offered by RIT faculty who will go on more short-term programs abroad. And the programs can vary in length, typically between about 1 to 5 weeks. And many will take place over the winter break, spring break, or the summer. So even over spring break, students can take a week, travel abroad, and participate in a really unique experience. So for example, we've had students go to Galapagos to work on sustainability-related projects. We've had students go to Germany, which is a leader in engineering technology and automotive engineering. And those students who go to Germany are from our engineering, manufacturing programs, just to get a taste of what's happening in different countries and give a more global perspective. And I would say also international research is popular at RIT, but at also many other universities abroad. That opportunity allows students to conduct research at one of the RIT overseas partners, typically working very closely with a faculty advisor or faculty member who's doing research in the labs at RIT. International students can work up to 20 hours each week during the semester. They're eligible to work 40 hours a week during summer and winter breaks. And on-campus employment, even if the job is not directly related to the program, can really help students expand their community building, their communication skills, connect them more with the campus and different offices and people. And the positions that are offered range from working in offices or dining services, sometimes the library, but they can also be research and teaching assistantships, even at the undergraduate level. So for students who are looking to earn a little bit of extra income, even from their first semester on campus employment can be a good way to, again, build a resume, get some experience, and then really meet friends and connect to campus. Participating in volunteer work, again, while not particularly maybe directly related to the academic course, gives students the opportunity to learn about critical challenges facing the community at their campus, but also the greater surrounding community in their city where they're studying. They can interact with local leaders and perform short-term projects with community agencies. So we offer programs like alternative spring breaks, where students have traveled and worked on different federal policies and protected lands in Florida and in New Orleans. Those trips are usually very low cost, including transportation and lodging and food, but students will be able to make a big impact in a short period of time and again, see a different part of the country and feel like they're giving back. We also offer a number of on-campus service projects that students can participate in without leaving campus. For example, we've built frames for Habitat for Humanity. We have a Giving Tuesday, which we provide and perform community service on Tuesdays, where we've also packaged meals for people in need in the Rochester community. This can help students build leadership skills, maybe create a passion for political activism, and show them the value of building community, all skills which help them make them more well-rounded citizens, as well as job candidates in the future. Research is also an integral piece of experiential learning at our campuses. This can help maybe make a high school student's decision a little bit easier. If they're looking for programs that are very research-based, they should look for universities that do have strong research services and have labs that they can utilize. At RIT, we have research infused into every single one of our programs, whether it is a STEM program or a liberal arts program, and we have over 50 labs on campus. And the research gives students the chance to work closely with department faculty on real-world problems. Our faculty are working with the industry every day, so they're very aware of the challenges facing the world outside. So students are working on projects that are actually happening. And the work that's done at the undergraduate level can inspire future work in a master's or PhD program. So many of our students will come to RIT, begin a bachelor's program, and then start researching and doing work in our labs and realize that they really have a passion for a certain subject or research area. And that student will then maybe stay at RIT for a dual degree, that's a bachelor-master's combined degree, or for a PhD program. And that can be done at the same university or a different university. And it gives students the chance to learn hands-on skills that become the foundation of scientific research. Our students are really innovative and they're working on breakthrough projects that have real impacts on the world. So a few other forms of experiential learning. We have informal experiential learning opportunities in the United States. Those can be initiated by students. So we encourage students to be innovative and be creative. And so if students have ideas and can procure their own funding, that's certainly acceptable. I mentioned teaching assistantships. This slide says graduate or teaching assistantships, but we do have teaching opportunities and research assistantships available at the undergraduate level as well. And those help support the educational and research activities at different departments and the university in general. And then lastly, there's a lot of professional development opportunities for students who are undergraduate students. They can join national organizations so that they're aware of, again, real world trends, connected to the industry even before they graduate. And through those professional organizations, they might be able to present a paper or a talk at different conferences. And a lot of our students are able to travel around the United States with their faculty to present the papers that they've worked on jointly or to talk about subjects that they're passionate about. So it's never too early to start thinking about career opportunities and what types of experiential learning our high school students would like to participate in. These can definitely help be decision-making factors that help students choose the right university in the United States. We know that there are over 4,000 universities and colleges in the United States, and it can be really hard to narrow that down. But students who want to participate in co-op or internships or study abroad, they can help their search by beginning to look for universities that offer those services. So I advise students to work closely with academic departments that they're interested in, research the Office of Career Services and the Office of International Student Services, both before they arrive on campus and during their first semester at RIT. I also say take advantage of every training and advising opportunity that you can, just to learn all that you can about the field that you're in and what opportunities might be available. Start early in career planning, and of course, consider a co-op or other experiential learning experience. None of those activities that I mentioned earlier are necessarily required of students who come to the United States, but they do certainly help build students' confidence, build their skill sets, make them really competitive for the job force. And I always say to students to think outside the box, to not limit themselves to one program or to what they think they should be doing, but think about how creative experiences like the study abroad or volunteering in the community, how that can help them with their ultimate goals. There are also a variety of resources available to high school students who are considering different fields of study or different degree programs. At RIT, we do have a career and employment trends website, which shows which fields are looking to grow over the next number of years. We also have a job success and career outcomes site where we track the data from our most recent graduates. We actually have 2019 data available already. And that data will show students the average starting salary of graduates in that field, the average co-op salary, and the different companies and job titles that our recent graduates have gone into. So I encourage students to do this research early so that they know exactly where they could be in 4 or 5 years once they finish their undergraduate program. We try to be as transparent as possible. We want students to have this information so that they're confident coming into the program, but this is also a really helpful decision-making tool. So for students who are maybe coming from a high school environment where they haven't had a lot of exposure to experiential learning, I think it's important to remember that learning is not a one-size-fits-all concept. Each student is an individual and will be able to take away different things from different experience. And that's one of the benefits of studying in the United States, is that the experience can be highly customizable. So students can take an internship or do volunteer work, or if a student is more passionate about research, they can focus primarily on research. It's really a really nice way to adapt to different student needs because we know that everybody learns differently. I also urge students to take advantage of different instructional methods, learn what works best for them. Everybody's different. And then we also recommend creating opportunities for students to interact with industry, networks, advisors, and peers so that they build teamwork, communication, and collaboration skills, which we know are important regardless of what field you end up in. So as high school students are looking for a program in the United States, remember, we encourage students to think outside the box, keep an open mind. There are so many online research tools that can help students narrow down their best fit program. But definitely would recommend meeting with an academic representative early on or an admissions counselor. So high school students should not hesitate to reach out directly to the university and to the admissions office. I know myself working in admissions, I am always more than happy to schedule a Skype call or a Zoom call with somebody who might have just some general questions about studying or applying to universities and how to choose a good fit program for them. Also, if they're just determining whether RIT, for example, is a good fit for them, I'm happy to have that conversation with them. Talking with current university students and sometimes even alumni can also be very helpful because those students and alumni have been in the shoes of our high school students before, and they can help advise them in a more personal way, and I think relate a little bit differently. And then, of course, if it's possible, we recommend visiting universities. This can be hard for international students who might not be able to travel to the United States, but if it is possible, that can be a very helpful decision-making tool. And there are a lot of virtual tours now that are available, so students can at least see the campus and see lab space, even if they're not able to visit in person. Okay, and then last but not least, finding the right university fit. This is challenging. Like I said, there's thousands of universities in the US. But I think key factors to look at are job outcomes rates. What is the placement rate for a specific university? Are they showing that they're successful and they're landing their students jobs? Are students able to succeed post-graduation? What kind of employers and industry partners does the university have? If a student's interested in research, what is the lab space that's available? Do students have access to that from their first semester, or do they have to wait 2 years to be able to work in the labs? Are there campus jobs available? What is the size and scope of the Career Services Office? Because we know that the Career Services Office is an integral part of finding co-ops and internships and full-time jobs. And then is the faculty available? Will they be open to speaking with a student? Is the admissions counselor and admissions team responsive? Are they providing good customer service? These can be all important factors to help guide students to the best fit for them. So that is an overview of our experiential learning, just generally in the United States, the different opportunities that we offer, as well as a little bit about RIT. And I know we have time now to give a brief introduction to RIT specifically. So I'm going to go ahead and do that. And I know we got started a little late, so I'm trying to move a little bit faster so we can have time for questions at the end. And I'm seeing some questions in the question and answer box. And I'll answer those quickly.
Yeah, Katie, we can answer them after the session, once you're done completing it. So that's fine. Thank you.
Okay, that works. I think a lot of these questions might be addressed actually as we go through the presentation too. So I'll continue on and we'll take the questions at the end. So RIT has a very diverse student population. We are one of the largest private universities in the country, but one of the benefits of studying at RIT is that although we're a large private university, we have a much smaller college feel. Students do not get lost at the university. The average class size is 22 students, so students are not sitting in 400-person lecture halls, and the student to faculty ratio is 13:1. So our faculty are accessible, they hold office hours, they are able to work with students one-on-one to provide advising and mentorship opportunities. Students will never feel like they don't have access to their faculty. We have over 2,600 international students studying at our main campus in Rochester. So we're about 13 to 14% international. We are diverse in our student population. Our students come with different interests, skills, and cultures, of course. But you can also notice here our wide array of academic programs. So even though we're an Institute of Technology, we are not just STEM. STEM is a part of who we are, absolutely, but students can pursue majors across all disciplines, including photography and animation, sustainability, and liberal arts. All of our students are able to pursue a minor. I should say all of our undergraduate students are able to pursue a minor. And we encourage students to take elective classes outside of their major if they're interested. So one of the benefits of studying at a university like RIT is that you can major in computing, you can major in engineering, but if you wanted to take classes in fine arts, you could do that. We also have accelerated dual degree programs like a BS-MS program and a BS-MBA program that allow students to earn their bachelor's and master's in an expedited amount of time. So I mentioned our co-op in the first part of the presentation, but I'll share a little bit more information here. All of our programs at the undergraduate and graduate level do provide co-op, internship, and research opportunities. At the undergraduate level, students who are studying in most STEM programs are required to complete about a year of co-op. The graduate level, students definitely have the opportunity to pursue a co-op or internship, but it's not required. We have about 4,500 placements completed each year, and we have over 3,400 employer partners who host RIT as co-op students throughout the year. I think a great statistic from this slide is that 94% of employers said they would hire their co-op for a full-time position. And that's why so many of our students find jobs through their co-op, and why we have over a 94% placement rate after graduation. So like I mentioned before, co-op is paid full-time work. Students do not pay tuition while they're on co-op. They don't take classes either. They're fully focused on the job experience. And another important point about co-op is that it can be completed anywhere in the United States and even globally. If students want to complete a co-op in India, they could do that. If they found a placement in another country, as long as it's approved by our International Student Services Office, they can do that there as well. And we do offer co-op experience in Rochester itself. So that's available too. It really just depends on the student preference. So this is an example of, and I'm sorry for the slide there. the text is a little bit off. But it gives an example of what a schedule would look like for a student completing a co-op. So for an engineering student, and for any student at RIT actually for that matter, there are 2 years of full-time academic coursework required before an undergraduate student will complete a co-op. So the engineering example shows a student completing 2 years of study, going on co-op for their 3rd year for their fall semester, coming back to RIT to study, and then going on co-op for the summer. The requirement is to complete 1 year of co-op, and this can be completed in one big chunk, but oftentimes it's broken up into semester chunks so that students can work for different companies for co-op. They don't have to stay at the same one unless they prefer to do that. We are completely confident that that experience makes all the difference for our students, which is why our placement rate is so high. These are just a couple of the companies that regularly hire students. We have, again, over 3,000 partnerships, but these are some of the companies that hire many of our students. And we do have a job outlook site, joboutlook.rit.edu, where you can see the breakdown for each individual degree program at RIT. So if you were interested in computer science, for example, the bachelor's program data is all available. You can see there that the average starting salary is $89,500. You can see different companies that students have worked for, and you can see what the co-op salary is typically for students in that program. We are incredibly focused on research. I mentioned this before. There are over 50 labs on campus, and those labs range from a lab that is sponsored by Toyota for manufacturing and industrial engineering students. As you can imagine, Toyota is a large employer of RIT graduates. But we also have labs in, and a lot of research happening in artificial intelligence, relativity and gravitation. There are labs for fine arts and business and everything in between. And regardless of which program a student is studying in, they do have access to that lab space. So a lot of collaboration happens between departments and colleges, and we encourage our students to be very innovative. So just an example of one student doing research at RIT. And then another lesser known fact about the university is that we are very focused on innovation and entrepreneurship. We actually have the #1 student center for innovation in the United States. And that is a place where students from all programs, undergrad and grad and all disciplines, have access to resources and programs that can help them launch a business or to get a product off the ground. So we definitely want students to have access to those tools and be thinking about what they can do to advance their ideas. Lastly, we are a global university. I already have talked a couple times about our international locations where students can participate in exchange programs, sometimes research that's collaborative between the different departments. And we provide study abroad in 55 countries. Those are directly through RIT, and if there are places where students want to go that are not provided by RIT, we definitely have a lot of associated programs with different colleges and universities where students can participate as well. So I'm going to provide a brief overview of our campus life. We have an incredibly dynamic campus life with over 300 clubs, 1,300 annual events, 29 Greek organizations. These are just a couple pictures of those activities that we have for students. Clubs range from academic clubs to special interest clubs, from like ballroom dancing to intramural sports to esports. Like students just can really find something for everybody right on campus. And we understand that students are at RIT to study and focus on their academics first, but we also want them to have some fun while they're there. We have a variety of varsity sports. If there are any high school students who are interested in participating in varsity sports, our admissions team can connect them with a coach. And we're very well known for hockey. We are Division I in ice hockey. We have a brand new facility and ice rink where the players host their games, and there's a lot of school spirit surrounding the hockey team. So students will go and cheer on the hockey team throughout the year. About 30% of our students participate in some kind of intramural sport. You can see the list here. It's pretty all-encompassing. We have cricket, field hockey, soccer, football, table tennis, anything that you can imagine students can participate in. And we also have a strong commitment to growing the performing arts. We have about 1,000 students who participate in our performing arts groups. There are over 27 of them on campus. So that's like theater, dance, musical performance. And we're planning to open a couple new facilities in the coming years that will give students more space and the ability to work on different projects. In spring of 2022, we're opening a brand new musical theater performance center. And we are opening in fall 2023, the construction actually just broke ground, a black box theater and dance studio. So students who are in all programs can use those spaces. And what we love about our IT students are that they tend to be very well-rounded. So about 95% of the students who participate in performing arts are in STEM programs and business programs. They're not enrolled in programs that are music majors or performing art majors. We have about 6,000 students who live on campus. International freshman students are required to live on campus, and we have a range of different places for them to reside. Those are residence halls and different apartments. We also offer special interest houses, so students want to live with their peers in a similar major or maybe other international students. They can certainly apply for those opportunities. And the campus is like a mini city in itself. We have state-of-the-art facilities, a beautiful fitness center that has an Olympic-sized swimming pool, an indoor track, weight room, and cardio rooms. Students also have access to a post office, hair salon, and a market right on campus. There's also a bank. So if a student comes to campus, they don't necessarily have to have a car. They can get around. And we also have a shuttle that will escort students from the housing to the academic spine to off-campus places like the grocery store or the mall on the weekends when they need to do that. And the housing itself is really only a couple-minute walk to the academic area anyway. We also have 21 campus dining options. Those range from full-service restaurants and dining halls that are right in the residence halls for easy access for students, to different cafes where students can grab and go with a coffee or a sandwich if they're on the way to class. And we provide food that will fit any allergy or any kind of diet. And we're located, of course, in Rochester. Rochester is the third largest city in the state of New York. The campus itself is about 15 minutes south of the city of Rochester. We're in a really quiet, safe suburban area called Henrietta, and we're located on about 1,300 acres of land. So the great thing about that is that students have access to the city and to the resources there and to the entertainment there. You can see here we have world-class dance and theater and museums and galleries and festivals that students can attend. But they can also focus on their studies in a quieter area. If they want access to the city, it's there, but they don't need to do that. And even surrounding the campus itself, the area is suburban. So minutes from campus, there are plenty of shopping malls and theaters, grocery stores and restaurants that students can visit. We're also in a very large college area. There's over 23 colleges and universities that are right in Rochester. So not only do students have access to peers in their classes who are from all kinds of countries and different parts of the United States, but they'll also be able to meet college students from the 23 other universities in the area. So lastly, I'm going to switch gears and talk about admissions and aid. There are different ways to apply for a program at RIT. For students who know exactly what they want to major in, they can apply to their desired major right away. Students might have an idea of what they want to study, but not know the exact major. So for example, students can enter an engineering exploration program. Maybe they know that they want to study something in engineering, but they're not sure if that is mechanical engineering or chemical engineering or industrial engineering. And in the engineering exploration program, they can take a variety of courses to narrow down what their interests are and then apply to their major later. Or we also offer a university exploration option. This is for students who are undecided who have interests across a couple of our different colleges. So that's even more flexible. Some of our majors are more competitive than others. We do offer the students a chance to list up to 3 majors on their application. So if they're not admitted to their first major, we can automatically consider them for their second or for their third choice. And a lot of times our admissions team will make those decisions based upon a holistic review of the application and just looking at the letters of recommendation, the statement of purpose, maybe helping the student identify what could be the best fit for them. We are actually SAT, ACT optional for all international students. That will be the case for all students for next fall. But this gives you an idea of where students who have submitted the SAT score are typically falling. We do a holistic review of every single application. The main things that we're looking at are the high school record. This is very important, especially exam records. The standardized tests, if they're provided. It says test optional here for College of Liberal Arts. We're actually test optional for all programs. We also will read the letters of recommendation, and we'll review extracurricular activities, any interests or awards that the student has received. We really do believe that our best students are well-rounded and have varied interests, and so extracurricular activities can help set a student apart. For example, if a student has demonstrated leadership experience as a high school student in maybe leading a student group, or maybe they're applying for a mechanical engineering program and they've spent all 4 years of high school in different robotics projects in their student organization. That shows that the student is passionate about the field and has invested in that over a number of years. Having a couple key interests is much more important to us than having 10 different activities that students have participated in for 1 semester for 1 week. We also read the essay, and for select programs, we'll review a portfolio. The portfolio is required for our Bachelor of Fine Arts degree programs, which typically fall in the School of Art and Design or Film and Animation. We do offer different decision deadlines. We have early decision, 2 early decision deadlines. Those are binding decisions. So for students who know they want to attend RIT as their #1 choice, applying for early decision can give students not only the benefit of knowing that they're admitted earlier, but also give them first consideration for scholarship and financial aid. The regular decision to apply for the fall semester is January 15th. About a third of our entering class every year applies to the early decision plans. So every year we award about $320 million in financial assistance. Every single applicant is automatically considered for merit-based scholarships. Those are based on the review of the entire application. Last year, more than 55% of our accepted students did receive some form of merit scholarship. And we also offer a performing arts scholarship that students can opt into. So if a student is applying to any degree program, but they have an interest in performing arts, maybe they've been in a dance program before, or they play guitar and they want to continue that, they can apply for performing arts, and that would be an additional merit scholarship that's awarded. We also will consider international students for need-based financial aid. That would require the submission of the International Student Financial Aid application, which is issued by the College Board. And that's information that we ask for to be considered for any need-based financial aid. So in summary, RIT, we're always thinking about the next big step for students. Our Magic Spell Studios is one example of that. It's a new building on campus that's dedicated to media, arts, gaming, interaction, and creativity. Students from film and animation, game design, computer science programs work on projects in virtual reality and sound design. And it's one of our brand new buildings. We're also always advancing. Right now we have construction underway for a Global Cybersecurity Institute, which will be brand new. It's opening this fall. We've also completely redone our residential cafeterias for students who are living on campus. And we just broke ground on a maker library and innovative learning complex, which will include a black box theater, a maker space for students. And that was made possible by a $50 million donation from one of our alums, Austin McCord, who was founder of a company called Datto. So we are always striving to provide the best high quality resources and facilities to our students, and always growing as a university. So students have the ability to take advantage of that. So that is an overview of our experiential learning opportunities in the United States, a little bit of information about RIT. This is my contact information, so please feel free to email me with any questions, or you can send me a message on WhatsApp directly. And now I'm happy to take any questions that you have.
Right, so I think we can begin with the Q&A section. I think the questions are posted in the Q&A. Katie, I hope you're able to see the Q&A box.
Yes, I'll read the questions out and then respond to them. Is that okay?
Sure, take your time, no problem. Thank you.
You're welcome. So the first question I see is, what are the popular majors at RIT? And I would say the most popular majors at RIT are in STEM programs. We see a lot of interest right now in computer science, game design and development, film and animation, engineering. But we've also seen growing interest in some of our liberal arts programs, as well as the industrial design program at RIT, which is ranked very highly. So there's another question that says, are the opportunities mentioned for undergraduate students or only graduate students? And I'm not sure exactly which opportunity is being referred to there, but everything that I mentioned in the first part of the presentation regarding experiential learning is applicable for undergraduate students, not just graduate students. So it would be for both. So it says, which bachelor's programs have the co-op option? Does it increase the length of the four-year degree? And that's a great question. So all of our bachelor's programs have the co-op option. Not all bachelor programs require co-op. Most students studying in STEM are required to do 1 full year of co-op. And that does increase the length of the bachelor's program to 5 years. But when the student graduates, they have 1 year of full-time work completed. And that really sets them apart from other undergraduate students who are finishing their bachelor's degrees, which is why our placement rate is high, because students who are typically finishing a bachelor's program don't have that work experience. So our students really are set apart. I think it's also important to mention that in that 5th year that students are in the degree program, they're earning a full-time salary. So the earning potential there is quite high, and our students can save that money or they can apply it to the cost of education. So the next question is, do students have the option to pursue a semester of their program at your other campuses? How does the process work? So yes, students can absolutely pursue a semester in an exchange program at either a study abroad program that's, in over 55 other countries, or at one of our other campuses. They would just work with their academic advisor to determine which courses they would take. We do see exchange students go to Croatia and Kosovo, Dubai, to get that experience and have that global exposure as well. So working with their advisor to find the best time to do that. How can students apply for research and teaching assistantships on campus? So students can always use our job database. We have a job search site that's run by our Office of Career Services. They post 10,000 jobs every year. Those are on-campus positions as well as off-campus internships and co-ops. So students can start by looking there. They can also reach out to their faculty directly to ask about available positions and apply through those faculty members. The next question is, do dual degree options offer accelerated programs if we pursue our bachelor's degree and proceed to master's program? So yes, we do offer dual degree, which would be a BS MS or BS MBA program. That allows you to earn your master's program, your master's degree and bachelor's degree at the same time in an expedited timeline. So typically for STEM programs, maybe a BS MS in engineering, that program would be 6 years. So you are subtracting 1 year of that master's program, keeping in mind, of course, that the bachelor's program is 5 years because you have a year of co-op requirement. Okay, so the next question is, would it be possible to share about RIT campus life and student activities? I am going to skip that one because I think it was addressed in that second half of the presentation, maybe before or after the question was asked. So a question about would the data for the employment be available for international undergraduate students as well? We don't have that information split up by international or domestic students. It really is overall. I can share the link to that in our chat so that you have it as a resource, but we don't break that down by international. Typically our international students tend to be as successful as our domestic students. So I'll share that link again. I'm trying to get to chat. I'll share that in a minute. Actually, I'll tape the answer. So in the answer questions section, I shared a link to our career services salary and career information. The next question is, what would be the difference between institute and university? Does institute mean more research in general? Not necessarily. There really isn't a difference in the US aside from just the naming of that. We do consider ourselves a university. We are a research focused, PhD granting university, but our title and the name of the college is just RIT, Rochester Institute of Technology. So in the United States, there's not anything to distinguish institute versus university. That might be the case in some other countries. Another question, what are some of the popular majors and minors at RIT? I just answered that. Next question, from an admissions perspective, can you share how each item weighs in terms of importance when deciding on admission? We really do a holistic review of the entire application. I think the most important factors will be high school performance, especially in the courses that are related to the program students are applying to. But students who may struggle in one area can make up for that by submitting strong test scores, demonstrating their passion for the program through community service and extracurricular activities. We read every single piece of the application to make a decision. Can you share information on campus safety and safety precautions taken due to COVID-19? Right now, we're planning to resume on-campus courses in August. The first day of class for the fall semester will be August 19th. And New York State just released the regulations for opening higher education institutions. So there are a lot of different safety precautions that we need to abide by. They include new social distancing guidelines. So guidelines for mask wearing on campus, also different facilities. We're having a touchless food delivery system implemented. We'll be incorporating the hand sanitation stations throughout campus. I could also share information about those New York State guidelines with you. So I'm going to share a link to the New York State guidelines that every university will be required to abide by. And you can take a look at that to understand how RIT will be handling the opening of campus. The next question is, I have just entered my 12th grade A-levels. Will admissions for 2021 be more competitive as many seniors for 2020 are planning on deferring? How would this affect the student-faculty ratio? I can't answer that question because we really don't know exactly what's going to happen. Right now, our applications for fall 2020 were increased. We're offering students who are admitted for fall 2020 the chance to either come to campus if they're able to make it, or to begin their first semester online and then transfer to the program in spring. So we're hopeful we won't have too many deferrals. It's hard to say exactly if competition will increase for 2021. It would not affect the student-faculty ratio, however, because RIT would not admit more students than we're capable of providing a quality education. So I can't answer that exactly. That will really depend on how things proceed over the next couple of months and how many students are able to get to campus versus defer. The next question is, OPT longer than 1 year for students majoring in STEM programs? Yes, it can be. Students who graduate from STEM programs in the US can be eligible for up to 3 years of OPT after graduating. So it's 1 year plus a 2-year extension. Next question, would you waive off TOEFL for IABDP students? Also, can you share the GPA requirements for admissions and scholarships? We would not waive off the TOEFL for these students. However, if you have over a 560 on your SAT verbal section, we can waive the TOEFL or IELTS requirement. So that's possible, but if not, then we would require a TOEFL or IELTS score. There is not a GPA requirement for admission and scholarships because we do a holistic review. So there's really not a cutoff there. We're gonna look closely at 10th grade exams and again, the core courses that you have that are related to your program. So if you're applying for engineering or you're applying for computing, we'll look at your math and physics and chemistry classes most importantly. But we do look at overall GPA, but there's no strict requirement. And then lastly, is the tuition fee capped by credits taken per semester, or does it differ by major taken? So for all of our undergraduate students, the minimum course load to be considered a full-time student is 12 credits a semester. So the tuition is a flat rate as long as the student is taking 12 credits. If a student takes more than 12 credits, then the tuition is still the same as the 12 credit cost. So I hope that answers that question. What are your AP requirements? That varies by course. We do accept AP classes and we can accept AP for credit, but I would want to individually advise you on that because again, it does vary by the course taken.
Can you see me?
Yes.
Okay, I think students, parents, thank you so much for asking all of these questions. We truly appreciate your time. I think these are all the questions which are for the day. I don't see anything else that has come in. I would like to take this time to thank Miss Katie. For it's very early in the morning, I'm sure out there, for taking the time to join us today. And to the students and the attendees, thank you for joining us for the Knowledge at KPT Admissions 101 workshop series. I know it's very late in the evening. Just want to share a quick point. This session is recorded and it will be shared with your schools and guidance counselors. So feel free to check with them if you need a link. Ms. Katie has also has been kind to mention her not only an email address, but also a WhatsApp number. So feel free to reach her via email if you have any questions in terms of RIT. And before we log out for the day, I'm just going to launch a quick poll in there just to just so that everyone can see and can vote. We always do this because it's helpful for the admissions to see, in terms of how useful this session is and you can share some important data. So please just take a quick minute. I know Ms. Katie has to go for another meeting, so we will, of course, be respectful of her time. And we'll keep it to the next 10 seconds. And I know a few of you have voted. So I'm going to end the poll. And I'm just going to share the results. Katie, can you see the results on your screen?
Yes, thank you.
Great, thank you so much. So to the students, parents, thank you so much. Please join me in saying thanks to Ms. Katie. And Ms. Katie, I'm sure you look forward to keeping in touch with the students, parents, and counselors who participated in the discussion. And we really appreciate your time. I think that's a cap for today. And I, of course, wish you a wonderful day and look forward to keeping in touch with you. Thank you once again for your time.
Thanks for having me. Have a great night. Bye-bye.
Thank you. Bye-bye.